Hello, English language learners. Welcome. Let's see how many of you are already there. Avidesh. Okay, so Avidesh, looks like you are new. So let's see. I hope you all received the message that I'm going to be live today. So if you are new to the channel or if you are already here, so you know that we were practicing. If you were here before, then you know that we were practicing our figurative language, right? Figure of speech. Yes, good to see you, Sandeep Chauhan. Tariq Anwar, good to see you. Yes, I am good. Hope you all are doing good too. So I'm sure you remember. So if you remember, what did we learn last time? Let's write down at least one example from each figurative language we practiced last time. So let's see if you remember. And one more thing, I want you to think about the figurative language from your own, like from own culture or from movies or from songs. If you remember anything from Hindi songs or from Hindi movies, because I know that we use figurative language in Hindi, and I know in Punjabi also there is a lot of figurative language we use. So let's think about it. If you remember anything from Hindi songs or from Hindi movies or from your everyday life, if you use figurative language in your language. So I hope you remember something. And we will be talking about something. My bike is a horse. Okay. Yes, that's nice. So you compared your bike with the horse. That means your bike is really in a very good condition, right? Okay, good. So it runs fast. Good, like horse. Excellent, Sandeep. So we're gonna wait for like maybe 1 or 2 minutes, and then we will start our session by the time more students will join us. So Avidesh Kaushik, I hope you are there. So, and one more thing, she looks like moon. Oh, wow. Okay, yes, she looks like moon. So do you remember any figurative language from any Hindi song? Any Hindi song? Think about it. Maybe you will, because sometimes we sing the songs, but we don't realize in our language that there is a figurative language. Because I remember there are many songs, but I'm not going to tell you right now. I want to see if you remember any. Okay. So before I start this session, if you are new here, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so you can get all the notifications also. One more thing, I am going to start my speaking courses, and my courses are going to, the first one will be starting from June 15th, Monday, and I have 2 options. So I'm going to show you more about the courses before I will start the lesson, and then I will show you at the end. And please don't leave, because I am going to read a very interesting and very famous poem also for you at the end of this lesson. Okay. So I'm going to share the screen with you, and then we will start our lesson. So let's see, my internet one. Okay. Live streaming. There are so many files open on this one because I do this session through Zoom. And you know the ones, those they attend my Zoom sessions, you know how all these sites works, right? So, hello Priyanka, good to see you Priyanka. So, yes. So Priyanka, if you remember any figurative language we learned last time, you can write down the names and you can write down the examples also. So let's write down the example of figurative language. If you remember any example, write down. And by the time I am trying to open the page. Okay. So let's see, share screen. Okay, I hope you are able to see this one. So this is my actually in Teachable site where I am going to start my courses. If you are interested, and at this time, I'm just starting my speaking short-term courses. One will be only for 10 sessions and another one is for 20 sessions. So if I will put the link in the description and I will put the link in my chat box also. So when you will be here, you can see the courses here. So right now I just have 2 courses. I have the one I'm starting from June 15 to June 26th, and that will be from Monday to Friday. And this course will be teaching you social English speaking skills. And it will be starting evening time, 6:30 to 8:45 p.m. That means 75 minutes. And the other one, and this course has 10 sessions. And you can see it's very reasonable price. And then the other one has 20 sessions, and that course is same, but that will last till July 10 and will have 20 sessions. So Monday to Friday, same time, 6:30 to 8:45 p.m. So now we are going to start our lesson. Okay, so I am going to share my other slide with you. And we will be starting the illustration, right? Okay, so we'll be starting the illustration. And again, share the other screen, right? So this time I am going to share illustration ones with you. So I know many of you already know some of the figurative languages, but yes, we learned, yes. Yes, simile and metaphor, excellent. Yes. I am good, Sahareen. Aslam, good. Good to see you, Aslam. Yes. Okay, so this one, illustration. And now we are going to read the definition as we always do. So illiteration is the repetition of sounds at the beginning of or nearby words, right? So illiteration have stressed syllables with the same sound or the sound group, repeating at the beginning of two or more words. I know the tongue twisters are also alliterations, but in tongue twisters, sometimes most of the word starts with the same sound, right? Or the same syllables. But the important thing here, which you need to keep in mind, is that it's a repetition of two sounds or more than two. Like, for example, I will show you the examples in next slides. But right now, this example is alliteration: lazy lizard leaping on the log. So lazy, you know that what lazy means, someone who doesn't like to do anything. Lizard, I'm sure you know lizard. It's one kind of like a reptile family. Leaping means laying down on the log. Log means wooden stick, like the thick one. Okay, so that's what it is. Now, the other thing about alliteration, we already know that it's the beginning or the nearby words. And now, for example, here, this one is mostly a tongue twister, but it's also the part of alliteration. So you call these kind of examples the tongue twisters also. The reason we say tongue twister is because when we say it, then sometime we say it wrongly because we are not able to speak in a flow. Like, for example, Sally sold seashells by the seashores. So if you say it fast, you might gonna mess it up, right? And then same thing is here, Peter Piper. Peter Piper. So if you see all PPP, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickles, peppers, right? So this one, and I know that we have tongue twisters in Hindi also, and even in Punjabi also, we know that. Like, I know about Punjabi also, that we have tongue twisters. So if you remember any tongue twister in your language, in Hindi, or if you speak any other language, I want you to write it down in the comments, in the chatting. Okay, so write down here. Let's see if you know any tongue twister in your language. And I know my students from many other countries in my American classroom, like in Spanish or in Arabic languages, or in some are from like Afghanistan, they all have the tongue twisters and alliterations and other figurative languages. So that's why I know that figurative language we use in every language. Okay, so by the time you are doing this work, and I will show you many other examples about alliteration and how these alliteration works. So stay here, do not leave the session. And if you are new here, subscribe to the channel so you can get all the notifications. So let's see. When your time live, usually I am live at this time. When it's your Indian time is, I think, 9:09, or it's my 11 o'clock I started. So I think it's your 9 o'clock. Am I right, guys? Or 8:30, something. I'm forgetting now, Indian time. So it's American time is 11 o'clock. So I think it's Indian 8:30, right? Yes. Okay, I'm good. Where will this session be? Sandeep, this session will be on Zoom. Yes, we will be learning in Zoom, but it's we figured out the Zoom problem also. There was a slight problem in our last session. Okay, simile and metaphor, excellent. Sure, you can type it in Hindi. That's not a problem, Paras Dhawan. But gradually, I will encourage you to try to use more English because it's a process. See? So I will say first, yes, I understand many of you are dependent on a lot of translation in your first language. But if you start listening and reading and practicing more English, and especially if you are practicing with me, and I know many of you are already improving, it's not only you are noticing the improvement, your family and friends are noticing that improvement too. So I will say that try to come out of the translation and gradually move towards only English if you are practicing English. But at the same time, yes, when you speak with your family, the ones those they do not understand English, you can use your language, right? So, but you can use both languages at the same time, right? For example, I speak only English with my children because they don't speak Hindi or Punjabi, uh, and I speak mostly mixed language, I will say, with my husband. But when I call to my relatives sometimes, if they don't know English, I speak with them Punjabi, right? So you are not going to forget your first language no matter what. Wherever you live, you will always remember your first language. Okay. Yes, चंदू के चाचा ने चंदू की चाची को चांदी के yes, yes, चांदनी चौक के chutney chatai. Yes, yes, that's a tongue twister, right? Excellent, Sandeep Chauhan. Yes, Priyanka, yes, 8:30. Yeah, sometime I just mix up the time. It's 8:45 now, right? Yes, because it's yes, so you are ahead of us. Okay, good evening. Yes, I will. I will send you the link. Sure. Yes, I will send you the link. Okay. Yes, I will email you the link too. Sure. Okay. So now let's talk about the next one. And the next slide is, so we know that that we have the tongue twisters in our language or the alliterations in many Indian songs also, if you think about it. Yes. Okay, now let's talk about this one. It's very important. Please remember, especially in English, that alliteration don't always to start with the same letter. It only must have the same sound. So, for example, a phonic is PH. PH sounds like F. Think about it. Phone, 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 right? Or photograph, PHOTO, right? GRAPH, photograph. So they are photosynthesis, for example, that word in science, you all know, right? Photosynthesis is a process when plants, they make their own food, that process, right? Now, they all these words starts with PH, right? And so PH sounds like what? F sound, right? F sound. So my favorite photo on the foothill is fabulous. Or photos, sorry, because photos, so we are using R, right? So my favorite photos on the foothill are fabulous, right? So you can see here, this one is P and H together make the same sound as foothill or fabulous, right? So you can see that it's not always the letter. So I am sure you all know what letter means. All A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, right? They all are letters. But we have to think about, especially in English, that we need to use the sound, the same sound, not only the letter, same letter. Now, then same thing, like C can sometimes sounds like S also. In many, as I hope many of you know about the phonics, because if there are 26 letters in English, but there are more than 45 sounds in English, right? So C sometimes sounds like S also in many words. So I have one word here, example. So Sony parrot sitting and singing on the ceiling fan. So this C is sounds like S, but this one is a different letter. So this one is also a example of an alliteration, right? So please keep in mind this one also. Then this one, C can also sound like K, right? Think about the simple one, cake, cake, right? You all, I'm sure you all like to eat cake, C-A-K-E, cake, right? But that starts with letter C, but has a sound K. So same thing is here, kitty, cat, cat, K sound is very cute. K sound here again, kitty, right? So this one is also an example of alliteration. Sometime if you are a test taker, sometime the examiner, they want to confuse you. And they use these kind of examples where the sound is same, but the letters are different. Okay. Yes, the next one. Okay, where, so there are many other places where we use the alliterations, the character names. Think about character names like Mickey Mouse, M.M., Donald Duck, SpongeBob SquarePants. I hope you all know these characters and the shows also. And this one I wrote down, Chacha Chaudhary, because I remember when we were little kids, we used to have a comic book. Like now you have comic books in India, I am sure, and I hope you know what comic means, where you see the dialogues are pointing to the characters, right? And most of the conversation in the writing is in dialogues, like character is speaking, right? So I hope you have many comics in Hindi or in English in India also. But Chacha Chaudhary was used to be the character, very famous character. And then movies also sometimes. For example, Amar, Akbar, Anthony, right? So these are why we use the figurative language to make it colorful and to attract the other people. So for example, for these characters, the whosoever is writing, they want to attract the audience, right? So the people can get attracted with their names and they can see them. They want to see them, right? So that's why, and we see a lot of figurative language in advertisements also, if you ever noticed it. So now the next one, I will do the next part, but before that, let me see your messages. And I want you to think about any figurative language, maybe from your language, or if you remember anything from English, or if you remember any figurative language from advertisement. Okay, so let's see if you can do it. So by the time I'm going to check your messages. Okay. Okay. Yes, yes, I will send you. Science is a severe subject to study. Okay, science is one of my favorite subjects, Sandeep. Okay. The session is seized by Sir Cat Like Cake in the kitty party. Okay, good. Good evening, Kuldeep. Good evening. Okay, yes. So now the last one, I want to read a poem and I want you to think about it. The figurative language in it, and I want you to try to feel the poem, okay? Sahib Alam, I mentioned earlier that I am going to start my speaking courses, and I am not going to have a long-term commitment with you because my courses will be speaking courses, especially I'm telling you, are going to be like 10 sessions or 20 sessions. So you can, if you are interested, I will send you the information. So I can show you even here also. I already showed you in the beginning and I will show you again. Okay, good evening, Deepak Kumar. So let's finish this poem. How to improve your writing. Everything, whatever you want to improve, you need to practice, right? And I am working on that part too, where I will be bringing many other courses very soon, where the focus is on the separate domains, okay? So I want to read one poem, and this poem is written by a very famous poet, and he was from America. He was an American poet, and I am sure you know his name. His name is Edgar Allan Poe. Okay, so Poe was actually, he passed away in a very young age, I will say. He was just 40 years old when he passed away, and most of his writings are very sad, and because he himself had a very stressful life, I will say. Many miseries in his life. There was so much happened in his own life, and his writing and his poetry actually is like a effect of his personal mindset. And there is so many poems he wrote about are very melancholy, sad, like depressed. And this one is The Raven, very famous poem. Maybe some of you already know about this poem, but this poem has a lot of figurative language, and that's why I decided to read some part of this poem for you, okay? And Raven. So Raven is actually a crow, and in America, we say Raven, and in India, you say crow. So, but it's the same thing, okay? Raven. And Raven is its symbol is that represents something, right? So for example, if you see the Red Cross symbol, that symbol is for donating the blood or helping others, right? So wherever you see the Red Cross symbol, you easily know that this is something with the hospital or something with donating the blood, or right? So, or something with the charity, all the Red Cross one. The same thing is sometimes you see the danger sign, right? And sometimes you see the skeleton and the cross on it. That means there is a danger. That's also a symbol, right? So symbol that represent something else, right? Now, the raven is a symbol of ill omen. Ill omen means, I know many, that means superstitiousness, when you feel like, oh, something bad is going to happen. I know in Indian culture, if the cat's gonna cross your path, if you're going out of the home and the cat crossed the path, and some people say, oh no, that's not a good omen, that's something bad might gonna happen. But these are all superstitiousness. I don't think so. It's like very true. But some people believe in all these kind of things. So here in this poem, the raven, the poet used this symbol that it's a sadness, because I think the Raven, when Edgar wrote this poem, before that, his wife, Virginia, passed away, and he was very upset and very sad in that time, in grief. And that was the time when he wrote this poem, and this poem is very famous. So I'm going to read this a little bit for you, okay? So let's read this poem. Okay. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this and nothing more. So if you see this one, there are so many words which are negative connotations. I don't know how, if you know what are the positive connotations and the negative connotations, but the connotation is when you listen the word, how you feel, okay? Because there are two types of, one is a denotation and one is a connotation. Denotation means you are looking for the exact meaning in the dictionary. Denotation is a dictionary meaning. But connotations are not the dictionary meanings. Those meanings are how you feel it when you listen some of the words. And if you see weak, weary, dreary, all these words symbolize sadness, negativity, and sadness and grief. Okay. So, now I want you to notice the alliteration also in this poem, right? So you can see alliteration, nodded, nearly, napping, right? So this one is a repetition, for example, rapping. And then I don't know how many of you know the, what you call a rhyme also. The rhyme scheme, they rhyme with each other. For example, the words cake, bake, rake, steak, make, blake, right? So they rhyme with each other. So same thing here. And even in Hindi songs, you might have noticed there are so many words, they rhyme with each other at the end, right? So video is not clear. Which video is not clear? Oh, you mean screen? Okay, so I'm gonna have this here. Okay, I hope you will be able to see this, right? Okay, so I'm sure you will be able to see now. I move the, okay. Okay, how to improve? Sandeep, I showed you the prize list for the sessions. I already showed you the list. Yes, the 10 session or the 20 session. Yes. So if you want, I can show you that screen once again. But let me finish this poem, and the next stanza for this poem. So, distinctly I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my book surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Leonore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angel named Leonore, nameless here for ever, evermore. So Leonore was like a beloved, it's a symbol that she was no more. But in this one, the quote, most of the people say that Edgar actually wrote this poem about his life because he wrote this poem after his wife's death. And this poem is full of sorrow, and the raven is a symbol of sadness. Okay, so I am not going in a detail about this poem, but I decided that to read it for you because there was so much figurative language used in this poem. So today we just gonna complete the alliteration. And if you remember any alliteration from your language, you can write in the comment section, or if you know any figurative language from English, any figurative language, especially alliteration, you can write in the comment section too. Okay, so again, video is clear. What do you mean? I mean, you are not able to see that? It's clear. You can see that, the poem. I was reading the poem and I can show you, this was the one, I'm sure it's clear. This one we talked about, that the repetition and the tongue twisters are also part of alliterations. And sometimes the letters can be different, but we have to focus on the sounds, right? And then same thing, the C sometimes sounds like, C can be sometimes sounds like S, or K also, right? So, and then we read a poem. Now, I am going to show you again this slide, which I was talking to you about the courses which I am going to teach from next week. So June 15th, this one is a speaking course, and I will put the link in the description box. And this one, for example, will be starting from June 15th, and it will end on June 26th. Okay, so it's a Monday to Friday. So you can see this is 39, and it's American money, okay, for 10 sessions, and each session will be for 75 minutes. That means 1 hour, 25 points. And then this one is 20 sessions, also starting same day, but this will end on July 10th. So I hope it's clear to you. If you have any question, let me know. And now I will stop sharing this PowerPoint with you. And if you have any question, I can answer for last 2 minutes, and then we will end the session. Okay? Yes. Any question? Okay. So tomorrow we will practice the next figurative language is personification, and we're going to do maybe 1 or 2 kinds of figurative languages tomorrow. Okay. So I hope you all enjoyed this lesson. Again, if you are new, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. And now I will see you tomorrow. Okay. Have a good day then. Bye, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.